Here he comes along the meat aisle. And this is actually the area where the incident actually ends eventually. Still walking through. Nothing that really draws attention to him at this point. Pretty quick we'll see our victim, her mother, and her sister. Okay, here is our hostage, 2.5-year-old, her mother, and her 12-year-old sister walking through the store. As you can see, there's our suspect. He walks by, actually sees the child. Mom and sister are close by, just like normal shoppers would do. Once again, this is in the very south portion of the store. Our suspect is still roaming the store with an empty shopping cart. We appreciate Walmart providing this surveillance video for us for our case and the evidence, and OSBI for editing for us. There's our suspect again. He'll make one more circle, come back around, and that's when he takes the child. When he abducts the child, he immediately hands the cell phone to the mother. Obviously, the 12-year-old shocked as what's occurring, and he actually demands her to make a call to an individual who is a Dallas police officer that he's known since apparently childhood. Here's our suspect coming. Here he abducts the child, removes her from the shopping cart. Then he pulls the knife out after he gives the cell phone. He walks up to the mother, gives her the cell phone, and demands that she call this Dallas police officer. Obviously, the mother's shocked. She starts to scream, "Hand me my baby, give me my baby. You've got my baby." And that's when people notice that something's wrong, and we start to receive the 911 calls. He's removed the knife. He has the knife held up to the child. Obviously, we have store employees, the mother frantically pleading. She has the suspect's cell phone. She's trying to dial the number he's requesting. He's unreasonable, screaming, yelling. Obviously, as we said earlier, we start to get 911 calls. We have the 911 call embedded here. You can see how distraught the mother is. This is the pastor, Mr. Parker, who's pulled his cart up. As you saw, he blocked the ability of the suspect to walk to the west.
A black male, a white child, and a white mother.
Okay, where is she at?
She's right here talking to him. She's trying to get him to give her back. Hello?
I'm here. Stay on the line with me. Don't hang up, okay?
Okay.
Whatever you do, don't hang up with me.
I will
know him?
I don't know.
Does he have any weapons?
I don't know. I don't know. He told me the shot.
Okay, but you can't see
And
any
on the
weapons?
baseball cap. I'm trying to not let him see me on the phone.
What kind of hat does he have on?
It's a baseball cap.
Okay, do you know what color
What
it
color
is?
do he have on him? What color is the cap? A black cap, turned backwards. He has one shade. What color is the shirt? Dark blue long sleeve shirt.
What is he yelling?
Got the child distraught now. Obviously, Mr. Parker's very calm. He has his daughter with him.
He just threw his wallet on the floor and said his ID was in it.
Just threw his wallet on the floor here.
Is that what all he yelled?
Yeah, he said he wanted kids, but I don't know what his relationship is with this woman.
Okay. What is she doing?
She's talking to him, trying to get him to give her child back.
Okay, does it seem like she knows him?
I can't tell. I don't know.
Okay.
Can you just get someone over here, please?
Yeah, they're on their way. I just didn't
we're
want
like,
you. What is your name?
Debbie,
You'll see Sergeant Floyd Netherton be the first officer that responds.
371.
He'll come down the aisle and confront the suspect,
Okay, they're off.
pleading with him to drop the child, removing the knife, and he refuses to do so, obviously.
Okay.
He did ask, there's Sergeant Netherton. He's telling him we can resolve this, put the child down. He refuses. He wants Sergeant Netherton to call the Dallas police officer. And at this time, other officers are responding from different areas within the store. Once again, you see Mr. Parker standing by calmly, making sure the suspect doesn't walk towards the west. Mr. Wallace is incoherent at this time, making unreasonable demands. We ask everybody to step back. We have other officers on the scene. We evacuate the store, lock the store down while we try to negotiate with the suspect. Here you see Captain Huff has arrived. They're moving people away. They'll eventually escort the mother to the front of the store, and obviously, as I said earlier, how horrible is that to leave your daughter in the arms of a complete stranger who's holding a knife to your child? But it was necessary because obviously she was frantic at that point, and we needed to open up lines of communication. This is Detective Sergeant Darrell Miller here. David is the primary hostage negotiator. Sergeant Miller is the second hostage negotiator. Other officers here at the scene. Have part of our SWAT team responding. They're escorting the mom. She didn't want to go. Obviously, that de-escalates the situation for us. He's still demanding that we get a hold of the police officer in Dallas. He's thrown the sunglasses down now. They're forcing mom to leave. We do get a hold of the police officer in Dallas. He says he is acquainted with the suspect. However, he's tried to avoid him because he's been calling his cell phone multiple times, and there is no relationship other than they grew up together, and he does know him. Wallace at this time is talking about Illuminati. Also that George Bush is watching him. And we bring him a chair, and this is a tactical decision because we want him to sit down. So in case we do have to take any action, the child doesn't fall to the ground, and we can also control his movements. He actually does eventually take the chair, and he will sit down. Still has the knife to the child. During negotiations, they try all kinds of cues, talking about family, about job, about how the child is not afraid of him. Child's calm. We know he's not going to hurt this child. He continues to make unreasonable time demands to get to the officer from Dallas here. Initially starts at 10 minutes. It's 5 minutes now, the 60-second countdown. David Huff is trying to divert his attention. He squats down. At that point, Wallace looks over to Sergeant Miller. And what Huff does at that point, he takes a tactical advantage, walks towards Wallace as he takes the knife from the child's stomach to the neck area. The child starts to squirm. And then the shooting occurs.